Welcome to Saturday Morning Meeting for Suppliers, presented by 8th and Walton, the premier destination for supplier development, and sponsored in part by Dun & Bradstreet Credibility Corp., the leading provider of credit and credibility solutions for businesses. I'm Andy Shook, and thank you for joining us. Since we're heading into Walmart's shareholders meeting, and since tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today, this week's show focuses on the future. First, Jeff Amorine of Startup Junkie and Krista Hinson and Ian Whitlow of Explainify discuss some remarkable communication options available to suppliers today, options that are certain to be part of our tomorrows. Next, we sit in on Kathy Deck's presentation at the Quarterly Business Analysis Luncheon and hear her first predictions of the economic future of Northwest Arkansas. We wind up today's show with a conversation about international sales with Ron Tiarks, former president of Walmart Germany and now senior vice president at 8th and Walton. If you want global sales to be part of your future, don't miss Ron's 6 tips for international success. And now, since there is no time like the present, let's get started with today's show. Today I'm here with Ian Whitlow and Krista Hinson of Explainify to talk about animated brand videos. Thanks for coming in today.
Yeah, thank you.
Tell us a little bit about Explainify and yourselves.
Yeah, so my husband and I created Explainify in 2012. We were seeing all of these videos come out, but they were really long format, like 3, 4, 5 minutes plus.
Right.
And so we wanted to create these videos that were 90 seconds or less with an emphasis on storytelling. So telling brand stories, making them, from complex ideas into something really simple that people could understand and could relate to, and that ultimately influence buying decisions.
Got it. Very cool. Ian, what about you?
Yeah, I'm our lead storyteller and client hero, which are fancy names, but essentially I'm the master of all things copywriting and also just ensuring that clients have a great experience.
That's really a killer job title.
Yeah, I love it. I try to live up to it.
That's very cool. So as you think about it from the context of a supplier, how can they use an explainer video to maximum effect? How does it work?
So what's interesting about what we do is we try to look beyond just an explainer video. Those are very important, but there's opportunities for video kind of throughout an organization. You could use it in a pitch meeting if you're introducing a new product. So that's very helpful. Obviously, customer facing on store shelves or even on your website. And then even internally for like a marketing campaign or end of year recap. So we really think that whether it's internally or externally, in store or in the boardroom, video is just a really good way to go.
And all different lengths, right? It's nothing magic about 60 or 90 seconds. It can be all different lengths to be most effective, right?
Yeah, well, absolutely. We try to stick to 60 to 90 seconds because we think that's maximum length for attention spans.
Sure.
But yeah, you can go longer, you can go shorter.
Sure. It kind of reminds me of Malcolm Gladwell and the whole blank thing, making the impression very quickly. So very, very cool. Very cool. So what are the main advantages of a short animated brand video versus live action?
Well, what we like to say is animated video is like your perfect pitch in 90 seconds or less every time. And so, no matter who you're talking to or who your audience is, they're going to hear exactly what you want them to hear and exactly what you want them to see every time. And when you're talking to multiple people, trying to get up that chain of command to reach the decision maker, they can pass up that video. It's easily shareable, and you know that it's going to be easily watched. And so,
particularly good at deconstructing complex things, things are difficult for people to explain on their own.
Sometimes you need that visual element that's not there in just an audio presentation or just when you're speaking. And so, we can create visuals that really go along with that.
I got it. So from a supplier standpoint, what's the return on investment look like?
Yeah, so to talk about quantitative return on investment, on average, most of our clients who host their video online are going to see maybe a 20% increase in conversion rate. But there's a lot of other soft benefits. So one of the big ones is a shorter sales cycle. You can take a 90-minute pitch and turn it into a 90-second video, which is a lot more engaging as well. And then really the biggest one is just that it influences buying decisions. So whether you're a general consumer or you're in the C-suite, if you're watching video, you're more likely to buy.
So I'm a supplier and I'm ready to engage you guys. What's the commitment? What do I have to do in order to engage well with you to get one of these done?
Sure. So we are very collaborative. We designed our process to be very collaborative because we think that our best work happens at the intersection of our expertise in storytelling and the client's wisdom with what they do. We think that's when we make our best videos.
Right.
That's great. How long does it typically take from start to finish?
Yeah, it's about a 6 to 8 week process.
6 to 8 weeks. This is really exciting stuff. What's coming down the road the next 5 years?
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of possibilities. We're always going to need to tell our stories and simplify complex ideas. So we're looking at, you know, HR videos and training and internal stuff like that. Also interactive video, kind of like choose your own adventure or bring people down the sales funnel. And also like email blasts too, where you can send out a newsletter, you can send out an email with fun little clips and stuff like that.
And there's also a whole psychology to it as well. I mean, what's the psychology where video is better than other forms of communicating?
Yeah, absolutely. It's dual coding. So whenever you have visual material and audio material kind of combined, it increases attention. So people are more likely to pay attention to what you have to say.
Sure.
It increases retention. So people are more likely to remember what you had to say. So it's really just an interesting opportunity for a supplier to say something in a new way, say it quickly, get people to pay attention, and ultimately get results.
And that's what it's all about, right?
Absolutely.
That's fantastic.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure that's only going to increase with the millennials who are challenged and multitaskers by nature.
Yep, they expect it.
Listen, Team Explainify, thanks very much for coming in. This has really been an outstanding perspective on how to use animated brand videos.
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Coming up next will be the remainder of Saturday Morning Meeting.
Retail Solutions is the market leader helping advance reporting and analytics with Walmart suppliers around the globe. We manage the data for you, automate data integration, attribution, and reports, and then help you focus on activities that will drive the most value. To do this, RSI works with you to perform a business value assessment to identify the largest value opportunities in your business. If improving results in sales through better insights and execution and efficiencies are important to you, contact RSI today.
Tap to Win engages with shoppers. They tap their phones on chips put in packaging or displays to get recipes, movie trailers, or even say instantly if they're a sweepstakes winner. Check out tpgrewards.com.
Today we're inside Collective Bias's offices with Bill Sussman, CEO. Welcome, Bill.
Hi.
Yeah, we're here today with Retail Insights. So what is social media?
Shopper social media is the content that our 4,000 social influencers create on behalf of brands to drive traffic and sales at a particular retailer. And they do that to drive new items at Walmart or amplify demos at Kroger or promote a season like back to school at Target.
Well, can you give us an example of that? What is a best-in-class influencer type program that you help put together that you've seen out there?
Sure. So this past summer, we did a great program for Coke. Their focus during the summer was to get millennials and teens to drink more Coke, 20-ounce Cokes. And their insight behind that was that age group loves personalized products. So they started putting names and different statements
the names on the cans. I
Cokes.
remember when that came out. Okay.
Yeah, so we helped them drive that program at Walmart. And what we did is we had 50 plus social influencers start to create content and recipes and different sharing ideas for why people would buy their friends a Coke.
And getting that message out about the names being on there and trying to find those different names?
That's exactly right. Yeah. That's exactly right. So we kicked off that sharing with our social media program. We also supported the in-store demo that they did at Walmart. And the end results were phenomenal. Walmart as a retailer posted double the sales of any other particular retailer in that item.
So by targeting on that Walmart customer, can you be that specific?
We can. So every one of our community members, we know everything about them, and we know what their shopping affinities are by product category, by retailer.
Interesting. So for suppliers, that's important because if they want to do a specific program within Walmart, so a program example like this is a great way for them to do that. That's right.
And that's really how Collective Bias, that's the reason why we were created. It was all about trying to influence sales, not for the brand, but for a particular product at a particular retailer.
Wow. Well, Bill, thank you so much for coming in today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
8th and Walton can help you become a smarter supplier with webinars and classes, services like custom training, consulting, HR solutions, and staffing. Visit www.8thandwalton.com to find out how you can become a better partner to Walmart. Sales analysts, build your skills fast with 8th and Walton's core classes. Order them together and save 10%. Go to 8thandwalton.com/classes now.
Mach 1 Financial Group has moved to Bentonville. Now we're easier to find and even better equipped to assist you with your financial needs. Visit us at our new location, 408 North Walton Boulevard, and check out our state-of-the-art Lunch and Learn conference room.
We're here with Kathy Deck of the Center for Business and Economic Research for the quarterly business luncheon. Kathy, welcome.
Thank you very much, Sam.
So you're about to give a presentation. How do you decide what to talk about?
Well, we have a whole set of standard economic indicators that we look at: employment, GDP growth, retail sales, income growth on a regular basis. And then when we have a program like this, we look for where those series might be moving in interesting ways so that we can dive into those statistics a little bit more deeply. As I often do, I'm going to start with GDP, because GDP has been sending some very confusing, conflicting kind of messages recently. When we look back at the first quarter of this year, I don't know if you see it immediately on this graph, but it's that gap tooth between the gold and the white bars. If you see that little number there that looks approximately zero, if we looked at the first quarter of this year, GDP growth was approximately zero, and the expectation among most economists right now is that when we get the second revision in, that number is actually going to be revised below zero. And that's a little bit surprising, I would say, because in fact, when we look at a bunch of the other statistics, you're gonna say, we don't look like an economy that's on the cusp of recession. We don't look like an economy that is about to fall in that direction. But when we look at what's been happening with employment growth, you can see on the blue line is the nation. We've had kind of very steady, increasing, improving employment growth. Lots of people are getting hired nationally. We see a little mini recession for the state as a whole in 2013 and 2014, as I talked about back in the labor force days. And we see Northwest Arkansas absolutely off to the races again. The new data show, the new rebenchmark data show that there is not weakness in our fundamental sectors. So at the Business Forecast Luncheon, the data that I had at those times showed that the trade, transportation, and utilities sector was weak. And I said, well, the best spin you could possibly put on this is that trade, transportation, and utilities, our major employers, are retrenching and getting ready to expand. I said that was the best thing you could say about it. Well, that turns out to be total nonsense. In fact, what we saw was during that period, all of our industries, including that vital trade, transportation, and utilities sector, was increasing substantially. And in fact, when we looked at those data beforehand, it said that we had lost 3,000 jobs year over year in the trade, transportation, and utilities sector. In fact, we gained 3,000 jobs. So that's a really very different story. And it's the miss is model based. It is the fact that the federal government puts a bunch of, they don't in fact calculate this by asking every employer about every employee, right? They take a sample, they look at how the nation's doing, they look at how the state is doing. And what they had done is they had basically brought Northwest Arkansas down to meet Arkansas, rather than bringing Arkansas up to meet Northwest Arkansas.
Where do you get all this information?
We get this information primarily from federal statistical agencies like the Bureau of Labor Statistics or the Bureau of Economic Analysis or the Census Bureau. But particularly for our local data, we collect a lot of this information ourselves. We do a local real estate study. We do a local consumer sentiment study. So all of these things come from a wide variety of different places, and we use that information to get a big picture of what's going on. And housing is critically important, not just for construction and not just for those kind of jobs, but if you think about manufacturing, if you think about just all of the consumer goods that there are, if you do not have a house, you do not have anywhere to put stuff. If you don't have anywhere to put stuff, you don't go buy it. I mean, and so that's the simplest way to think about this, but it has dramatic implications, for everything from city sales taxes on to manufacturing employment, to all of these things. That housing, the household formation, and that decision to purchase a house is really critical for driving the economy forward. And we have been counting on the millennial generation, who are in their prime home buying, beginning to be in their prime home buying years, to kind of give us that same kind of boost that the baby boomers did when they entered those years. And this student debt is a downward pressure on that. I will mention, however, lest you think that it's all debt all the time, the financial obligation ratio, that is the percentage of your income that you have to devote each month to paying that minimum payment, to paying your bills, to paying your mortgage or your rent, your insurance, your property taxes. All of that is at its lowest, one of its lowest levels since they began keeping these data, right? So if you look at how easy it is to service your debt, it's quite easy right now. And the reason for that is that interest rates are quite low. Interest rates are quite low. If interest rates rise, as they are projected to rise through this year, well then, of course, this ratio will deteriorate as well, particularly if we see those levels of household debt rise again. Just to point this out one more time, here's the home ownership rate from 2000 to now. So you can be careful on the scale. It doesn't go all the way down to zero or anything. But if you look at what happened going into the early 2000s, you see that's the bubble in terms of home ownership right there, that kind of increase from around 67 to about 69. But you see that in terms of the home ownership rate, we're far, far below where we were, which means there's potential.
So how often do you update all of this?
So we're updating our data continuously, but we provide more quarterly kind of updates to the public because that gives you a sense to see really what might have changed, what's a little bit durable, what we can look forward to in the future.
Well, I look forward to your presentation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Saturday morning meeting. We'll be right back.
Imagine what it would be like if you knew the weather up to a year in advance. What would you do differently for your business or your life? At Weather Trends, we don't imagine it, we do it. We're a team of meteorologists, mathematicians, and business weather advisors, and we've spent the last 20 years developing a new way to forecast months in advance. We've been studying weather's effect on product sales based on every 1 degree change in temperature. We can now take your sales data and show you exactly how the weather impacts your business down to a single degree. We're leading the way into a new era in forecasting and a new power in business decisions. And we invite you to join us. Welcome to Weather Trends.
Bentonville Plaza, across the street from the Walmart home office. The best office location offers proximity and services like no other business complex in the area. Call 479-200-1112 today.
GigWalk is transforming how work gets done. As the leading mobile workforce management platform, GigWalk provides companies with mobile tools and a data-driven approach to improving business efficiency. Leading brands and retailers use GigWalk to manage their field teams and to mobilize 750,000 GigWalkers to collect data intelligence about their business and brands. Are the shelves stocked? Are my products priced competitively? Are the correct promotions in place? Visit us at gigwalk.com to learn more. GigWalk, make work better.
8th and Walton can help you become a smarter supplier with webinars and classes, services like custom training, consulting, HR solutions, and staffing. Visit www.8thandwalton.com to find out how you can become a better partner to Walmart.
Sales analysts, build your skills fast with 8th and Walton's core classes. Order them together and save 10%. Go to 8thandwalton.com/classes now.
I'm here with Ron Tiarks, Executive Vice President of 8th and Walton's International Division. Be prepared, build relationships, be a good partner, have a clear strategy, and seize the moment. So these are the 5 steps suppliers need to follow if they're going to be going international. So
yes, and they seem pretty obvious, don't they?
Yeah, they do. I mean, suppliers already know this stuff, right?
Exactly, but suppliers know how difficult this is to execute every day. And if you go international, it's going to be exponentially more complex to execute.
Well, let's talk about the first one. Be prepared.
Again, an obvious point, but it's also probably the most important point to understand. You're going to be ethnocentric in your views of the market. Your market views are going to be tainted by the success you've had in the market you're in.
And that's a challenge for suppliers, right? Because they know what they've done in the U.S. Now they take it to Canada, Mexico, someplace like that. They have to look at it kind of through different glasses,
Exactly,
don't they?
and most of us learn the hard way by making a few mistakes. But it is the most important piece in your preparation and going into a market.
Okay.
So move with speed is something Doug McMillan talked about at the year beginning meeting. Sports analogies work very well for this. And you have to play with speed in any team sport today. And you have to be prepared. You have to study your opponent, know their strengths and weaknesses, understand their strategies, and therefore when the game day arrives, you're able to move with speed. It's a very important stuff.
So we've got the be prepared part. Taking a look at, with some different glasses, the country that you're going to be going into, everything else. What about building relationships? What does that mean?
Yes, at the year beginning meeting, constructive relationships built on trust is something Doug covered very clearly in the meeting. And in order to get into the international market, more than likely, this is going to be your path. I want to be clear, being prepared will keep you there because you understand the market. You develop your program, but it's your relationship with global procurement or the product development people.
So the Walmart home office side in the U.S., but then also the relationships outside of that and within in-country.
Right. Your network that you build with the Walmart organization more than likely is going to, your reputation is going to be built on those discussions, and it will introduce you to the international market. It will build your reputation beyond the borders that you're currently in if you do it right.
Right. Very good. So after building relationships, being prepared, building relationships, and now we got to be a good partner.
Exactly.
Okay.
And, your international buyer, they're going to do their due diligence. They're going to call your current buyer, and they're going to ask what your performance has been.
So you have to do a good job in the United States first before you go someplace else.
Yes, and again, that seems pretty obvious.
Yeah.
But, if you're not giving 100%, if you're not exceeding that buyer's expectations.
Working with their programs, doing.
It could stop it in its tracks right there. I mean, if you want to go international, you need to exceed their expectations. David Cheesewright, President and CEO of Walmart International, at the meeting made it pretty clear that his expectation is to have your best person on the account. And you are the best person, and it should be reflected in your performance.
And that's not only in the United States, but it's also, we want your best people outside of here as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So they're going to check on you. They're going to validate what you're doing. Being a good partner is going to be key in your steps to going international.
Okay. So be prepared, build relationships, be a good partner, and then have a clear strategy.
Now that you've worked hard, to prepare, you've built your relationships, you've been a good partner, you need to have a clear strategy. And that gives both you confidence and Walmart confidence that you know your way forward and you can support their vision for the future.
Okay.
That's very key. And again, it was addressed at the year beginning meeting.
Okay. Tell me more about the have a clear strategy, though. Have you witnessed any of that or seen any of that with suppliers, as far as suppliers that did a good job with that when you were in international?
Absolutely. Those that came in and were prepared, studied the market, were a student of the market, and had a detailed plan of what that meant, what their positioning was going to be, the segment of the market they were going to go after. That gave you confidence when they were able to explain to you what their approach was and how they're going to support your business. Wow. Very key.
That's great. So the last one, seize the moment.
Yes, seize the moment. You've done all this work. You've prepared your way.
Yeah.
It's a real challenge doing all of these things. Now you want to seize the moment when it comes, and it could come as a result of a direct communication with an international buyer or an indirect way, like we talked about before with global procurement or product development teams discussing the matter. And if you're able to get in any way, shape, or form, if you've got your steps all mapped out and you're ready to go, you can seize the moment. So it's kind of like a question that happened to a supplier just a couple of years ago. They were asked, hey, we would like to try your item out in ASDA.
So they've got the phone call from a buyer.
Exactly.
And they were able to bring their product to somewhere else in the world.
Right. So within weeks, they had it on the shelf. And it performed very well. They had an 85% sell-through within weeks.
Oh, like that in the United States.
Very good performance.
Yeah.
But they didn't stay on the shelf. And it didn't stay on the shelf because they weren't prepared. They didn't know the market. They didn't have a clear strategy. They were able to recognize
Did a competitor
get the product?
So a competitor filled the space. They had a strategy. They understood the market, et cetera. It doesn't seem quite fair.
No, it doesn't. They were the ones that performed and did a great job. But again, like you said, it seems so obvious that you should know these things. But you're right. There's so often suppliers don't realize all of the steps that they really need to be going through to make sure that they're successful.
And it's really unfortunate. You've got a great product, and you probably have worked pretty hard. But, you know, if you want to go that next step, you're going to have to be prepared. You're going to have a clear strategy. You know, it is one of those things that I think is a significant frustration for the buyers or for the suppliers when trying to address this issue. But, you know, if you haven't thought about looking outside your home market and going international, you should. It'll make you a better supplier. It will sharpen your perspective and your focus.
Well, and I think having somebody along for the ride, somebody that can consult and kind of help you walk down that path, helps a lot as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, you need that objective approach. You need someone to work through that process with you, and you will definitely gain in your knowledge and understanding and be challenged in ways that maybe you wouldn't have thought of before.
Yeah. Hey, Ron, thanks so much for digging into this for us today. We really appreciate you coming in. So if suppliers are interested in international expansion, contact Ron at 8thandwalton.com. Saturday morning meeting for suppliers. We'll be right back.
Bella Vista Village property owners have access to golf, fishing, tennis, nature trails, and more. To become a member or to learn more, go to bvvpoa.com.
The New School, an independent school serving 1-year-olds to grade 8, offering small class sizes and teachers who are committed to academic excellence. Learn more at newschool.org.
K-Stack, the leader in collaborative retail consolidation programs. We offer the supply chain expertise needed to navigate the challenges of selling products with the world's largest retailers. And we provide customers with a customizable, scalable, environmentally sustainable supply chain with the same advanced technology typically used by larger rivals. By leveling the playing field, K-Stack lowers distribution costs and increases overall margins. K-Stack, retail logistics is what we do.
Bentonville Commerce, less than 1 mile from the Walmart home office. You'll love the convenience, amenities, and customized options Bentonville Commerce offers. For more information or a tour, call 479-200-1112 today.
Today, investors are in search of more options with their investments. If you are 59 and a half, you can often roll your 401k over to a traditional IRA. This will give you more investment options. Curious? Call Mach 1 Financial now to see if you qualify.
8th and Walton can help you become a smarter supplier with webinars and classes, services like custom training, consulting, HR solutions, and staffing. Visit www.8thandwalton.com to find out how you can become a better partner to Walmart.
Sales analysts. Build your skills fast with 8th and Walton's core classes. Order them together and save 10%. Go to 8thandwalton.com/classes.
To quote a world-famous philosopher, only you can control your future. Those words of wisdom are from Dr. Seuss. I hope today's show gave you some great ideas about your future and got your juices flowing for Walmart's shareholder meeting. A big thank you to all of today's guests for sharing their insights. Join us in the weeks ahead, Saturday nights at 6:30 and Sunday mornings at 5 a.m. on KNWA NBC. Upcoming shows include Walmart's Made in the USA Open Call, Walmart's shareholder meeting, and a special show about the Hispanic shopper. Just like everything coming from 8th and Walton, Saturday morning meeting for suppliers strives to help you become a better partner to Walmart. From all of us at Saturday morning meeting for suppliers, thanks for watching.